Okay, great. Kia ora everyone, and welcome to the meeting for Waimāero Fendalton-Waimairi-Harewood Community Board for the 11th of December. This is our last community board meeting for the year, and the time is, what is the time? 4:30, yeah. 33 minutes past 4. I just want to acknowledge a few things before we start off with our karakia. The first is that this is live streamed, so everything is recorded and can be viewed publicly. The second is we do have a few people who are on Zoom as well. Before we get into apologies, we'll begin with the karakia. So we can all stand. And it's up there on the screen if we need it. So for item 1, apologies. Just want to recognise that Nicola might be an early departure. Hopefully we won't get to that point though. And then we've got an apology for lateness from David. And is James coming through Zoom, or is he? Apology for lateness as well. Yeah. Could I have a mover and seconder? Thank you, Sharish, to move. And Jason to second. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Any against? Right, that's carried. And then moving on to item number 2, our declarations of interest. I haven't received any, so I think we're all good with that. And then item number 3, confirmation of the previous minutes. So this is previous minutes that took place on our joint community board meeting. Oh, no, sorry. This is our normal meeting. Yep. Normal meeting. Would someone like to move those?
I can move them.
Thanks, Sharish. Nicola to second. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Any against? Carried. And then moving on to item number 4 for public forum. So we have Fiona, Matthew, Annette, and Nathaniel here. Would you like to come? You're most welcome to all come together and just sit at the bottom of the table there. If you want to present for public forum. So with the nature of public forum, we're not in a position to make any decisions, but you've got 5 minutes, and that includes question times as well.
Thanks, Bridget.
Oh, we don't fight. Despite what you read about.
Tēnā koutou katoa, I'm Fee. We'll each introduce ourselves briefly and then we'll do some speaking. But kia ora, I'm Fee and I live in the Harewood suburb, the Harewood ward. And I'm really passionate about local assets and keeping them.
Kia ora, I'm Matthew. I live in the Waimāero ward. Like Fee, we're here for the same reason. I'm also passionate about seeing the public services kept in public hands.
I'm Annette and I live in the Fendalton ward in Merivale, and I'm also very keen that we keep our assets for our citizens.
Kia ora, I'm Nathaniel. I'm actually over in Kashmir. I just care a lot about this issue, so I'm just here to support, but I'm not going to speak.
Kia ora, Colin Murkaho. I'm an observer really, just coming in, but support general concept of retaining assets and public ownership to support local public services and the economy.
Thanks, Colin. Great. I think we all remember the earthquakes and how amazing it was that we got our services back up and running relatively quickly compared with, say, what happened in Auckland and Greater Auckland and other flooding and storm events in the North Island. So keeping those assets is really critical for our infrastructure, and selling them off or potentially selling part of them off is going to result in poor service. So we really need to keep those assets and those dividends that come in. It's a long-term game. If we sell those assets, we're going to lose some of those dividends, and we can't use those dividends to put towards other things. So it's really important that we keep our assets. So I'd really like you to take to the long-term plan that we want to keep our assets, not sell any part of them. They're strategic assets like the airport, the port, Orion, Enable and City Care. We must retain as much ownership as we can. Matthew?
I'd also like to add, I'm a PSA delegate, so yeah, work in the public service. It's, from my point of view, it's really important that as a public good that these entities provide, that the employees not only be treated legally, but be treated ethically. While private enterprise is capable of doing that, the city council and other local government is best placed to do that, because we the people can choose representatives who will vote for vote for those actions to be put in place. Whereas if you're if it's sold off to a private company, then they can, well, the legal minimum is the minimum.
And I'd like to say another point is that not one councillor and our mayor is included in that, actually campaigned saying they would sell their assets, so I don't believe the council has a mandate to sell them. I also am not aware of any example of where these assets have been sold off and there's a long-term benefit continuing for the citizens of the areas they've been sold off. Rather, if you look it up, you'll see there's lots of examples where it hasn't been a smart idea. And we could even think nationally of when our electricity was privatised, we were told how good it would all be for us and for the price of electricity. And that hasn't happened, as we'll all be quite aware. I just do not think it makes economic sense for the citizens of Christchurch to dispose of these great assets that we still have. And it's no accident that our city still has these assets, because they have been fought over hard for many years with hard facts. I cannot see the sense, I cannot see any argument for it. And I think the recent example that we've seen happen in Auckland, where they've partially sold off more of the airport shares, I believe that was in September, and now the debt is greater than it was at the time they sold the assets off. So it's a short-term fix that it doesn't last very long at the moment. I cannot see the sense, and I don't want to see it happen.
We're happy to take questions.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. And I believe we do have a bit of time.
Yeah, I was looking for a timer. I couldn't see one.
Yeah, it's okay. I've got it on my phone. Yes, Aaron.
So what's that did make economic sense? Like, it was, if CCHL presented us a model where they could attract other investors, and then we can offset our rates by a percentage which is a lot higher than the dividends we currently return. Would that not be better for the city's residents?
I don't believe so, because the asset is gone. Once it's gone, it's gone. I mean, if it was your family company and you had a great asset, and the other thing is, why do public investors want these assets? They're really gold-plated assets that get snapped up. It's not an accident. It's because they're so good ongoing and into the future. And I think that might give you a short-term fix. And you know, I thought this council wasn't going to put the rates up, but however, we've got ourselves some very expensive projects. I sometimes wonder if, that was part of a long-term gain to sell off our assets. I might be wrong, but can't help being suspicious. I wouldn't support it.
And what about if you own something that doesn't make money, that costs you money, like a liability?
But you have to also, I know that there are some that may not be paying you away at the moment, and I also know that some of the holdings have taken out debts on behalf of the council. But the ones that might not be performing might also be performing a very important social service. So I think you've got to look at the whole picture.
So to all of you, then, of our assets, which ones do you see perform a social service?
Well, I actually think probably a lot of them do, if not all of them, in different ways. Other people could get something.
I would perhaps use a different word than social service, which is public good.
Service, yeah,
because even if a social
right.
service, I think quite rightly, you'd think of something like the city mission or things like that.
Yeah,
absolutely. But in terms of a public good, if the airport wasn't there being operated by the council, regardless of whether it is, which side of profitable it is, that would diminish trade for the entire Canterbury region. And just with that, just as such with the Littleton port, if we didn't have that, then the hundreds of millions of dollars in tourism and cargo would not be able to happen. There'd still be some, But if the council does not underwrite that to a certain degree, I'm not arguing that if there's one of them that is consistently losing millions and millions and such, but none of them are performing consistently that badly, then over time they are performing about profitable. And when you take into consideration the good that they provide in enabling commerce, that is why I'd say that we should keep them.
And employment, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you again. I don't know if there are any other questions, but I appreciate you taking the time to come and present. I understand that you're going around each of the boards. Was this the last one?
Oh, wait, I think there are different people in each.
Oh, right.
Like locals.
Oh, nice. No, well, thank you so much. And have a great Christmas. You're welcome to stay or you can leave as we go through the rest of the meeting. Thank you so much.
Thanks for this.
All right. Moving on to item number 5, presentations by appointment. There were none. Which takes us to item 6, presentation of petitions, which there weren't any. And now we move on to the joint community board meeting. So for item number 7, we have the joint meeting that for the Waimāero, Fendalton-Waimairi-Harewood and Waipapa Papanui in Essential Community Board minutes, which took place on the 4th of December. I'm happy to move those. Seconded. Thank you, Jason. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Carried.
Do I need to abstain from saying?
I don't think so. You just probably couldn't move them. Okay. Item staff reports. Item 8. So we have Georgia here first for Stanley's Road.
Happy to move.
Will you come to the lead?
Make the
Is there anything you'd like to add to?
No, I'm happy to take the report as read.
Yeah, well, it makes a lot of sense in terms of safety, so that's great.
second.
Who was the mover? Thank you, Aaron. And James the second. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Carried. And then Taylor Park Drive. That's you, Georgia, again.
Yep. Yeah, so this came through as 2 separate requests, one for Tulip Park Drive at the intersection of Claridge's Road, and the other one, Tulip Park Drive and Glenturret Drive. So yeah, we're just kind of proposing no stopping restrictions because there's some islands in there, and when people park there, it makes it hard for people to get through. Yeah.
Football gets pretty packed there.
Yeah.
Happy to move.
Happy second.
Okay. Are there any questions for Georgia before we jump to that? No? Okay.
I'm not normally in favour of yellow lines.
All right.
They're good ones. So help flow.
So Aaron and Jason is second. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Great, which takes us to item 10 for Norman's Road.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Got that.
Yeah, so this just came from a property manager. And I think they were raising it on behalf of one of the businesses there. So there's just a small car park that is currently unrestricted, and it's right outside the businesses there. So is actually on legal road. And I just had a look into it. It met the 75% threshold. So we proposed some P60s just to encourage a bit of a higher turnover of vehicles there and customers and businesses.
Yeah. We've got probably a few questions around this item. So Sharish to go first.
So is it P60 all time of the day, all days of the week?
Just 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Sunday. So every day, but just during the daytime.
Okay. Jason.
So there's I think was it Mama San, and there's potentially like another restaurant or something in that block too. I think they open at 5. The likelihood of the people getting ticketed who are going in for dinner at 5, who might be there at 6:30 or something, is pretty low, eh?
If they're there at 5, they can legally park there until, because the restrictions finish at 6. Yeah. So
Okay, so if you're
60 minutes and then the rest of the
yeah. So that's fine. Okay, no, that's cool. Yeah, just as long as it didn't impact the restaurant goers getting ticketed while they're having a meal or something. That
no, shouldn't do.
Yeah.
I have a question. It's only one that's come to mind now. The Norman's Road surgery, because that's where it is, isn't it? It's out in that pocket. Were they contacted through the consultation?
Yeah. So I kind of went into the surgery and the pharmacy just before I went out for consultation, just to ask, I guess, get a feel of what they wanted. And I spoke to the manager at the surgery on that day, and she was really supportive of it.
Oh, great.
I didn't get any formal feedback from anyone though. So yeah, it was just kind of a couple of people I talked to when I was dropping off consultation letters. But yeah, apart from that, no formal submissions.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And correct me if I'm wrong, but is there private parking at the back of one of the establishments?
Yeah.
Surgery has.
They do. Okay. Yeah. So there's quite a lot of there's a fair amount of off-street parking for those.
Yeah, there is some parking around the back as well.
In fact, even the businesses have the back on Norman's Road, but there is a fence between them, so you can't cross over at the back. So you have to know where you are going. So this makes sense.
Yeah, it does. One of the things I was wondering if we could tweak in the proposal is to actually include the time allocation on the signage. Because just to avoid any confusion. Is that a we can make that change in the resolution?
I'll add it in this week.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so I think when we normally resolve it, it's being resolved for those times anyway. So it's just a matter of me kind of asking for the times to be specifically put on the signs. Yeah.
That would be good.
That's an easy fix.
Okay, excellent. All right. Well, any other questions for Georgia? No. Well, is anyone happy to move? I'm happy to move. Seconded. Thank you, Sharish. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any against? No, carried. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Georgia, for all your work this year. Really appreciate all the reports that you put to us. Hope you have a break. Nice Christmas.
You too.
Okay. Great. So that takes us to item number 11 for the Youth Development Fund. So we don't have Lisa, but we have Natalie.
Oops. Yeah, I just wanted to say it's really great to see all these talented youth coming back out of the woodwork and having a chance to go overseas. So Hamish, he's been dancing since he was 3 and he hopes to be a lead dancer in ballet for a career, and the way he's going, I think he'll do it. So represent at a high level. He's had scholarships and he's had it and he's done it. So very worthwhile applicant.
So Aaron to move.
To second.
Trish to second.
Alex David's brother. Yeah, thanks.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Carried. Great. Awesome. Thank you, Natalie. And then does that take us to the next item, which is 12 for the discretionary response fund, which is you again?
Yes, that's right. So the first one is the Canterbury Western Kindergarten Association, who are doing, they are the overarching organisation for the Avonhead kindergarten. So they've already raised $22,000 towards their, actually hang on, 26 is it? Yeah, because they're only 3,000 in terms of the project. And it's a 70-30 split with HHR and between the two boards able to cover it. So their whole project will be done and dusted with the support of the board if you go with that recommendation. So.
Great.
Happy to move.
All right. Thank you, Aaron.
Is that moving all 3 of them?
Actually, that's good point. Yeah.
Okay, you don't want me to waffle a bit. Okay, right.
Well, do you want to talk about any of the others?
Don't need to. It's fine.
The report's good.
And if you want, we do. So.
No, that's all good. Okay. So moving all 3 then. Aaron is a mover and then to second.
I'm happy to second.
Thanks, Anne. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Carried. Great. Thank you so much, Natalie. Taking us to item number 13 for the board area report. Marianne.
Thank you, Bridget. I'll take the report as read and just highlight a couple of things. Our new board webpage is proving to be pretty popular. I was having a look at some analytics today, and we've had something like 600 and something views, getting about 30 to 40 new people each week looking at it since we've launched it. And like, you know, nearly 40 people have downloaded a copy of the Brindwa Banter. Some have said that they saw that on your Facebook page, James. So they went to the website and downloaded it. And also Karen was talking to one of the groups in Brindwa who said that they'd had 6 new families turned up to their activities, and she the woman from the group asked them, you know, how did they hear about it, and they'd all seen it in the Brindwa Banter. So it's really great, really positive. You'll see there a wee severe weather resource that we've created that we stole from Papanui, so credit to them. It's attached to the report, and we've put that on the website and sent it out via our networks. And also included there is the funding reports from the groups that you funded during the 22-23 Strengthening Communities Fund, and a bit of an update also from Aidan around Tonbridge Rastrick, which you may have some questions about.
Yeah. Well, I'll see if there are any other questions first around the board area report for Marianne. Oh, okay. While we're on this particular item, with Tonbridge and Rastrick Street, so just so the board's aware, the parking and traffic issues that have happened around Mayorvale has been something that's been on the board's mind for a bit, and this is a particular area has quite a lot of bottlenecking, and the streets are quite narrow. So we've been looking at ways with staff to try and mitigate the tension with these traffic issues. But I'm conscious that we are set to have speed restrictions down that street. So I just want to maybe put a bookmark here that like 3 months after the traffic, maybe is 3 months enough time? I'm just thinking maybe even 6 months.
I think you'd probably notice a pretty quick change.
Yeah.
3 months,
Okay. We'll do 3 to 6 months time to revisit the area to see if the speed restrictions do mitigate some of those traffic concerns. So if we could have that noted formally, that would be great. They need to be moved and seconded.
The whole
thing?
Yeah.
Is it the resolution?
Yes.
Great. Affecting all sorts of change. Yeah, that probably captures it. So then if anything else, if we want to look at other options, we can revisit it after that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Excellent. Is someone happy to move item 13? Thanks, Sharita. Second. Go on, Nicola. Yes. Okay. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Carried. Great. Thanks, Marianne, for all your work. Okay. Which takes us to item number 14, elected members information exchange. I'd like to exchange information.
Exchange some information.
Thanks.
So I'd like to say that we've finally got the lines painted at Sheldon Park. One was half done, but then we followed up and seemed to have got, maybe they just ran out of paint the first time round and had to come back a couple of days later to finish it off. Might have been what was happening. So that was great to actually see a little bit of progress there. And they painted over the speed bumps and put some yellow lines in. And I went down there on before, so they didn't have those ones, but having the ones in the middle were the most important. It was all very nice and tidy and organised. People would drive through, and it was great. So it's good to see a little bit of progress. Now, I guess this can just be an offline thing, but it would be cool to see just for some of the other better off projects we've got in the new year when we get back, if we can just at some stage when appropriate, bit of an update on some of those and to see, you know, if we can find out where they're at through the process and if there's anything that we can do as elected members to help speed some of those things up. That'd be cool. Could be cool to try and get some more things look like we're getting things done in the community with some of that better off stuff.
Follow-up to that would be to ask for an update on the Gardeners Road Shared Park. That stage 1 was meant to be finished about a year ago. I mean, we originally moved it when Brad was still here. So it's been on budget for a long time and they actually haven't broken ground. But remember, it was meant to be finished and then the part of it's getting done because they're doing the swale work. Well, the swale works will finish next year, you know, the big corner one.
Yeah.
All the stormwater facilities.
Do they get pushed with the crack stuff? Because that got delayed because of crack funding, but then has it now been removed completely still from the
crack or surf?
I think it was surf, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just staff keep running off to do other projects to keep the ministry happy. So that's why these keep getting bumped.
So John has been keeping the chairs and then I've been keeping you guys up to date, passing information on around around some of the LTP stuff. And I know that we're due to have well, not due, but we've been asked to have a catch up with some of the staff, the transport team staff on that particular item. We had a chairs meeting recently and I asked about could we get that in earlier, because it seemed to be like tabled for around February. So we could see if maybe we could
update, not the actual part.
Agree. That's what I mean. The update. Yeah, information on it. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. That'd be good.
Okay. Yes, Nicola.
Oh, this is something not interesting. I bumped into, I'm not sure of their name, but members of the Burnside Tennis Club, and they were just so excited about their new pickleball court, and they perhaps suggested that maybe Sam, Sharish and myself have a game one day.
Give me 6 months.
Yeah. Thought we could have a challenge there. Sharish.
That weekend invitation, they have thrown open to the whole public.
Exactly, I know, but you know, I think I've heard it's quite good for older people. So yeah, so
hand-eye coordination sports.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good.
The other thing, which we've got the team working on the chlorine station at Burnside Park. So we think we've got a solution to get it reinstated so it'll be chlorine free. I've just realised this is live stream, so we should probably keep it sort of quieter for next week. Actually.
Yeah. Well, I've got something to pass on, and that is a huge thank you to Natalie and Lisa and Katie and Karen. I know I wrote you guys an email, but a fantastic end of the Christmas celebration with the community liaison team. It was like the ultimate breakfast spread and great quiz.
Barnabas.
Yeah.
I was gutted I couldn't make that.
It was great. Next Christmas.
Yeah.
You set the bar really high.
Right.
Yeah, it was an awesome event. So thanks, team, for that. And also Mary and everyone else involved who have been part of this year. Thanks to everyone. Okay, excellent. Well, there's no other elected members information exchange. Actually, Linda, do you have anything to add? We haven't checked in on you.
Oh no, I'm good, thank you. Thanks everyone for being patient with me, always logging in on Zoom, but yeah, no, all good. And Merry Christmas. I can't join in for the after drinks or anything like that, but hope you all have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Linda.
Just drink on your own, Linda.
What was that?
Night. Just drink on your own.
All right. So I'm going to wrap this up. And before we do that, let's stand for our karakia.
Kia wātea, kia mama, te nākau, te tina, te wairua, I te ara tatakata. Koia rā e rongo, whakakaeria ake ki rongo. Kia tina, hui, tai.
Thanks, everyone. And we will officially the meeting at 2 minutes past 5. Why